Hi, I'm Cameron Williams, and for my senior Capstone project, I directed and planned a youth softball camp for the young girls in our community. This quote by Vince Lombardi states that the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary. I've been an athlete for most of my life, and I know the importance of hard work outside of practice and how it will lead to your success on the field or on the court, and so I wanted to implement some hard work through this camp so that the girls could be successful as they grow up to be varsity softball athletes in high school. The problem in the community was the lack of softball camps going on around this area. Due to COVID-19, it's been very difficult for some of the softball players as their season got canceled, including my own, and it's been hard to find camps around the area that the girls can attend and to better their skills and learn new techniques and meet new girls, meet new teammates, play with their teammates. So I wanted to plan my own youth softball camp that the girls could attend and learn all these techniques from a varsity softball player through the help of my softball coaches and some of my own teammates. Some of the alternative solutions that were presented were to wait for the city officials and the city softball league to plan their own camp, but I knew it was unlikely because they hadn't so far since spring, and they have their own lives and their own families, so I didn't want to wait for them. Another option was to fly in professionals from colleges or professional softball players, but that would cost a lot of money from the community, a lot of time for the professionals, and it would cost the girls money too to pay for these professionals to come and teach them. Or I could leave it to the youth to find their own camps. I've researched camps around here and there aren't many going on, so it would be difficult for girls to attend. So I took it upon myself to plan it on my own with the help of teammates and coaches so that the girls could get a free softball education, you could say. For my implementation, how I planned this, I talked to my mentor, Vice Principal Barry Parks, and he helped me with the ideas and how to make it actually come true. He led me to some contacts like our athletic director, Coach Jones, so I could secure our softball camp location, which would be in the Ox Gym. Due to inclement weather, it would have been on the softball fields, but the weather was bad. So we got that secured. I talked to my head softball coach, Ashley Arnold, and I talked to her about what kind of skills and teachings that she wanted me to implement in my own teachings to the kids. We usually run softball camps earlier in the year, but due to COVID we couldn't. So I asked her what she wanted the girls to learn, as they are upcoming softball players and they'll be under her teachings as a high school player. So I talked to her about that. We wrote some ideas down. I then contacted 3 of my teammates, Sienna Hall, Shayla Cherry, and Ruby Knighting. They are pitchers, catchers, and infielders, and I'm an outfielder. So I thought it would be great to get their insights and to have them help me coach. So due to COVID, we wanted to split the girls up as much as possible, keep them social distancing. So at the camp, we were able to split up into groups and we could have our own teachings implemented in each of our stations. We had Sienna teach some pitching, Ruby teach some catching, I taught some outfield skills, and Shayla taught some infield skills, and we also taught some hitting techniques. We wanted to focus on, like for outfield techniques, we wanted to focus on catching the ball with 2 hands and using drop steps when running back to catch the ball, and hitting to use our lower body and our hips to push through the ball, and our upper hands to make that contact, create the best contact possible to drive the ball out. And so we met at Brolum's on October 2nd. We planned a rough draft itinerary of how we wanted to make the camp possible. We decided to split the girls up into age groups for their own camp. So 3rd to 5th graders were able to come from 9 to 10:30, and then 6th to 8th graders were able to come from 11 to 2. So they each had their individual camps, and we split off into sections and taught them. On the day, we contacted Ashley, our coach, to use our own school equipment. we contacted our fellow teammates' parents to see if they had any equipment, because they've coached us over the years. So we collected bow nets, we collected balls, bats, mitts for the girls, and they were all sanitized for COVID-19 regulations. We gathered assistance from our parents, especially our moms. They helped us with the flyers for each kid and to sign for permission to take photos and videos. We had some siblings come to walk around the camp throughout the day and take photos and videos of the girls so we could use them in our presentation. After this meeting, I personally made a flyer to advertise our camp on social media. I had myself, my parents, my teammates, and their parents and coaches all post it on social media. I had my contact info on it, so all the parents and coaches that wanted their girls to sign up were able to text me. I put them on a Google doc sheet, and I was able to compile all their information and contact them in a big group text about time, information, and locations. I secured the gym for sure with Coach Jones for the 17th of October 2020, and then on that day I directed my camp. Ashley and Barry really inspired me to do this project. When I was young, I went to Barry's softball camps, and he taught me some fun skills. I had fun with the older varsity players, and I knew I wanted to be just like them. And here I am, my senior year, about to play softball next season. What did I learn throughout this process? I learned how to plan and execute large events, and I learned how to keep it to the basics. I wanted to make sure that I was teaching the girls important skills, not overdoing it or wasting their time with meaningless techniques. We implemented games, but we kept it simple. We let them just play at the end. We had a big game where they could play in like real life situations. I learned patience. I'm not the most patient person, but I learned that each girl is their own person and they all have their own personalities, and I needed to be patient with them and help teach them individually instead of just a whole. So I know this will help me in the future as I become a parent and I have to deal with my own children, and as I coach their own teams in like youth leagues for softball or basketball or whatever they decide to pursue. So I know these are good techniques for me to coach. We had a successful camp and great feedback from parents and the girls, which you can read about in my portfolio. I know in the future I hope to inspire these young girls who attended my camp to create their own camps as they become varsity athletes, and that they can teach younger generations. So here's some visual demonstrations. Here's me and Shayla with the younger girls as they're working on their fielding. We worked on grounding the ball 2 hands, some hitting techniques with Ruby, some back and front hands grounding with me and Shayla. Thank you for coming to my presentation.